Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today I'm going to be doing a quick comparison of Ancient Terrible Things Reawakened, the new reissuing and basically 2.0 version of Ancient Terrible Things, and Konja, which is a spin-off game that came out after Ancient Terrible Things, but before Reawakened was crowdfunded and came out. I just recently reviewed this with Milla, and you can check that out on the channel. And then this is one I've reviewed a long time ago. It's a game I've had in my collection for a long time. And I figured I would take a look at these two side by side because they really are based on the same core ideas. Now, one big difference in the game is Konja here is for 2 players only, whereas Ancient Terrible Things is 2 through 4. So you can play that with more, though to be fair, I think it is best with fewer players. So that's really a bit of a non-issue. But if you absolutely want that flexibility of being able to play with more, this is your only option right here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at both of these side by side, a couple of the differences, and I hope that will give you an idea of which one of these two might be the perfect one for you. First of all, the themes in the two games are quite different. So in Ancient Terrible Things, seen over here, it has an eldritch theme. So you are traveling down this river, you are encountering haunted, old, evil things, and you are going to these places, rolling dice in order to deal with these scary, spooky, supernatural stuff, all right? So think, again, very Lovecraftian stuff. In Konja, you are a shaman trying to bring the rain back to this dried land, and you are going to be performing rituals in order to acquire these clouds right here, and the end game is going to be triggered when you get to a certain number of cloud points. So that's what you're doing in this one. In this one, you need to get through a certain number of these cards, and then you'll score based on these symbols here, and whoever has the most points is going to be the winner there. Now, each game has a very similar turn structure. Basically, the first thing you do is you select a bonus that you're going to get a little something, and then everybody, including you, gets another part, another effect. Then you will roll dice, and then you resolve those dice. The first part, we'll start there. You will, if we're looking at Konja over here, these are the effects, and you would simply select one, put the token on it, and trigger that ability. When they're all on these deities, then you remove them all, and the next player would place one on and do it again. So you have to do them all before they reset. Over here, same idea. You have these locations. You put out your token, and you trigger. It's the same. One thing for you, one thing for everybody, just like over here. It's one thing for you at the top, one thing for everybody at the bottom. The difference is, over here, you're also selecting, when you go to a location, a card that is associated with that location that you're going to be rolling against and hopefully acquiring, defeating that necessity, and getting that card so you can score with it. All right, so it's actually your choice denotes 2 things, both when you're triggering here and the card you're rolling up against. In Konja, that this selection only matters for the power. You then roll dice independently and always check against this over here. Ancient Terrible Things also has this pyramid of symbols, basically, but everybody has their own card, and it explains what tokens you'll get for what combinations. So step 1 would be that. These two are basically equivalent. You get a token, then the players are going to refresh some special ability cards. Here you call for a token. Everybody gets 1 of that kind, in this case 2 of that kind. And then you also get to spend some tokens to, or rather, you have a threshold and you can acquire some goals. These are sort of hot potato styles. If somebody gets more than you, they can take it from you. There is no equivalent for that in Konja. Over here, you are going to be able to refresh the market, and then you can buy goodies. Same idea over here. You can sell some things and then buy goodies. These are going to be special abilities you'll have. Here, these two are also equivalent, and they are for basically one-shot special effects. You can discard as many as you want from your hand, and then everyone draws back up to 3. This one is the exact same thing. Discard as many as you want, everyone draws back up to 3. And again, those cards, as opposed to the other kinds of cards, are one-shot abilities. You play them, you spend these tokens to pay for them. Just like over here, you spend these tokens to pay for them, and then they do what they do and they go away. And then over here, these are not really equivalent. In this one, you have an ability which doesn't exist in Ancient Terrible Things, which is pay for a cloud. You can buy a cloud straight up. In this case, the best cloud is worth 7 victory points. You can pay 11 and buy it, or you can pay 1 and upgrade it. Now it's worth 9. And then over here, you can buy these cards straight up, which again, there's no equivalent for those cards in Konja, so they're sort of the two abilities that let you just acquire something straight up for influence or money. Step 2 then would be rolling dice, and over here we've got Konja and the dice that come with it. They are plastic, they are a little bit smaller than these dice that are wooden, and they have pips that are shaped like little skulls. These dice are fantastic, and in my opinion, clearly blow away the new dice for Ancient Terrible Things Reawakened. These are wonderful, translucent, plastic, lovely dice. You're going to be rolling these. Everyone will roll, or you know, every turn, you always roll the 5 greens, and then the 2 whites that have several blank sides and then some special faces. Okay, and those are the same for both games. The other dice, these red, the purples, they come into play from special effects and abilities, so we're not going to worry about them too much. And then in Ancient Terrible Things, you have more of them for more special abilities. So again, we're not going to worry about that too much. In Konja, you roll against this pyramid every turn. You're trying to get these combinations for these rewards. And in Ancient Terrible Things, you also have the rewards. You have these. But then you're also trying to roll against this. In this case, you need 2 dice separately. There's no relation between them. That's why the dice are printed far apart. And each one needs to be a 5 or better. Okay? It's one roll, but then you get to modify that roll with special abilities and cards you'll have in your hand. There's also this symbol over here, which is good for set collection and a part of the game which doesn't exist over here. And so you would roll, and then you would modify these things. The white dice you can use to trigger special abilities. Many cards in the game let you use a white die, and then the card will either be exhausted, turn sideways, or not, and they let you do something. Re-roll some dice, pay specific tokens, usually these green ones, to lock some dice and re-roll the rest, what have you. Once you are done manipulating things, then you are going to, if you have any white dice left that you didn't use, you get the special tokens there. So if I have that left, I'll earn the corresponding token, unless I used it for something. Same thing over here. And then I am going to see what I get. So single high numbers over here, 4 or better, get you one of these tokens. Same thing over here. A pair gets you these tokens. Same thing over here. The value won't matter in that case. If you have a straight over here, you get money. Over here, you have the same thing at the bottom. And then if you have 3 of a kind or better, you'll get the clouds. So say I get 4 of a kind here, I get a 5 value cloud. And again, I'm running to a certain number. I want to get 21 of these or so, and then I'll win the game. So that's what I'm going for, really. And I'm manipulating these dice to try to get these combinations. The green ones let me trigger card abilities. The blue ones let me trigger the one-shots. The money lets me buy some things and possibly even just straight up buy clouds instead of earning them with dice. Now over here on this side, you see a lot of the same abilities. The purple token is the one that lets me usually buy these cards straight up. And then the roll, I would do that and I would roll against it. I would try to once again manipulate these in order to possibly earn that, which is 2 victory points. And if I fail against this evil eldritch thing, then I take a penalty as well. I'm going to earn these bad tokens, which are tentacles, and they penalize you at the end of the game. And again, that's a concept that is not over here. There's also some direct confrontation, which is technically optional. You can do without it. But in Konja, the opponent, after you're done making your combination, they can roll this red die against you, and they can replace a die that you've rolled with the red die, but it has to be lower than the red die. So if this is exactly what it was, I rolled a 2 on the red, I cannot replace it with one of your 2s because they're the same. It needs to be lower. So I'd do nothing. I would waste it. If I had rolled a 4, I could have replaced, say, one of your 2s with that 4, which wouldn't really hurt you very much, as you could have 2 4s there. All right, so That's a little more direct confrontation, but there is an optional rule in there in which you could remove that, though this is the base game. This is how it's supposed to be. So that is phase 2, that is rolling. And then phase 3 I've basically already explained as well, which is resolving all of these things as I've shown you already. We'll take a look at some of the cards now. So here we've got the card types for the 2 games. You're going to begin with a few cards, but you begin with these that are parallels. So you begin with a hat, and this is also a hat. And it lets you, as long as you spend one of these white dice on it from the respective games, then you get to spend some of those green tokens, lock a number of dice, of the green dice, and re-roll the rest. These over here are also parallels, and they basically let you pay a number of green tokens, you put a white die. This one does become exhausted, as you can tell there and there. And then based on the number of green tokens you spent, that's the number of green dice you spent. So if you only need to roll 1, this is a better way to do that. And so you could activate those. Same thing. And then over here are the one-shot cards and the permanent cards. So we'll take a look at some of these. Now, one big difference in the games, which I think is actually could be a deal breaker for some people, is that in Konja, all the cards are language independent. And in Ancient Terrible Things, they're not. They're a lot easier to understand, in my opinion. So these cards, for example, you'll see they have the title, and they have a cost up there. And then they'll show you sort of what they do, but they also explain what they do in just plain English. So this, for example, will exactly tell you what's going on. You'll swap a green in your dice pool for a yellow. Whenever you re-roll any green, you may re-roll the yellow. Giant leap here, set any die to a 3. And then over here, some are fairly self-explanatory, but some are a little bit tricky. Flip one of these over, and you do have a player aid, which is going to explain all this. There's this nice player aid right here that explains all of the abilities, but you do have to sort of pass this back and forth until you're certain you know what everything is. These two are opposites, actually. And so you've got this, lets you re-roll all the greens. It's free, it has no cost. Flip over the whole thing. There you go. And so a few different symbols and abilities, but you do need to understand what the symbology means. And so these permanent ones down here are sort of the same idea. So we'll just flip those over. Again, these cards stick around is the difference over those. And you'll see over here they have a cost. That's how much you pay to acquire them. In Konja, there's also a mechanism in which you can sell these back to buy something else. So this one over here, you would exhaust and you gain a blue card. You have this one over here, gets you one of these coins, lets you re-roll a purple, or roll a purple, I should say. It costs one of the white dice, and you have to exhaust it. And then over here, same idea, but again, they explain what the card does at the bottom. And so that's going to be a little bit easier, and some of these abilities are a little more complex because this game has a little bit more going on in it. So there you go. Those are the 2 basic ideas. And again, thematically and the push towards the end of the game, they're going to feel a little bit different. Over here in Ancient Terrible Things, it has a little bit more of a forward momentum, whereas in Konja, sometimes if you're not getting those clouds, you do feel like you stagnate a little bit. Ultimately, in my opinion, not only is Ancient Terrible Things Reawakened here a little more flexible with the player count, but I find the theme more interesting. I like, Eldritch stuff, so I like that. But I also find the usability a little simpler, a little more user-friendly, and I like the forward momentum a little bit better in it, whereas Konja can sometimes feel like you're plodding, trying to get to that one great roll, and suddenly you get to make some progress. The artwork in both is amazing. It's fantastic. Both are really fun, dice-driven, Yahtzee-style games. But I think there are enough differences that you're going to have to decide for yourself which one speaks to you specifically. So there you go, folks. That is going to do it for Ancient Terrible Things Reawakened compared to Konja over here. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, folks.